I stand in my cap and gown at the Dean E. Smith Center in Chapel Hill, scanning the crowd for them. 6 empty seats. All saved for the Parker family. Saved for the people who should be here, shouting and cheering as I finish 4 intense years of pharmacy school after my undergraduate degree. The weight of it sits heavy in my chest. December 15th, 10 a.m. Doctor of Pharmacy. I've crawled to this finish line since I was 21. Lucy. Over here. Chloe's waving from the 5th row, practically bouncing out of her seat. Her whole family holds a huge Carolina blue banner, "Congratulations, Dr. Parker," all in white. They drove 6 hours from South Carolina. 6 hours just for my graduation. Chloe's parents are beaming at me, pride radiating off them. The kind of pride I always hoped I'd see from my own mom and dad. But Evelyn and Robert Parker? Nowhere. The announcer's voice booms through the arena. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now present the Doctor of Pharmacy candidates. My phone buzzes at my hip. 9:45 a.m. I know I shouldn't check it. I should focus on this exact moment, walking that stage, finally getting the diploma I've bled for. But I check anyway. It's the family group chat. Bianca, my sister, sends a selfie. She's 29, holding up a mimosa, cheeks pink from champagne and too much sun. Grayson's grinning, arm around mom. Evelyn's hair is perfect, catching the light just so as she laughs at something off camera. Dad, Robert, holds a crystal tumbler, smiling that bank executive smile. But the background, my stomach drops. A massive banner across Grayson's deck, Grayson's Winter Gala. The caption says, "Ski Lodge Party. Wish you were here, Lou." Snowflake emoji. My hands shake as I scroll back through our texts. August 20th. The day I sent out graduation announcements. Save the date, all elegant script. Evelyn's reply, "Of course, darling. Wouldn't miss it for the world." Robert, "Proud of you, kiddo. Mark it on the calendar." Grayson, "Can't wait to celebrate Dr. Lucy." Bianca, "Already planning my outfit." This is huge. I call mom on instinct. She picks up after 3 rings, her voice bright and breathless. Clinking glasses, laughter in the background. "Lucille, I can't talk. The mayor just arrived. I must go." And she hangs up. The announcer calls another name. Then another. The alphabet creeps closer to Parker. I'm frozen, staring at my phone at photos of Grayson's $3.5 million mountain ski chalet. The one Dad helped him buy last year when he made senior VP at the bank. Same year Dad told me he couldn't spare $375 for my pharmacology software and textbooks because I needed to manage my budget better. That memory stings like it happened yesterday. I was 20, standing in Dad's office, syllabus in hand, pointing at my book list. He didn't even look up from his computer. $375 for books? Lucille, you have to learn fiscal responsibility. Maybe get a part-time job. 2 weeks later, Grayson rolls into the driveway with a brand new luxury SUV, a congratulations gift for snagging a well-paid winter analyst position. He's been so stressed, Mom told me, when I stared at the car. This position is really demanding. He deserves something special. It's always been this way. At 15, I won at the regional science fair. Evelyn barely looked up, "That's nice, dear," while planning Grayson's celebration dinner for being named homecoming king. She called 3 restaurants for the perfect table, insisted on the best wine, invited his whole court. My trophy sat on the kitchen counter for a week before I finally took it to my room. Parker, Lucille. My name echoes through the arena, snapping me back. This is it. My knees wobble as I walk to the stage, each step ringing in the empty space. Chloe's family cheers like I'm one of their own. Her dad cups his hands, shouting, "That's our girl." Her mom's crying. Her little brother whistles so loud it echoes. I climb the steps. The dean grins and hands me my diploma. "Congratulations, Dr. Parker. You've earned this." Dr. Parker. The title I've chased for years. I turn to the crowd, clutching that diploma, and my eyes land on those 6 empty seats. Chloe's family is waving and shouting love and pride all over their faces. This is what family support looks like. This is what I should have had. But instead, I get a text, my family toasting at Grayson's après-ski party, while I walk across the stage alone. After the ceremony, I just sit there in my car, cap and gown still on, engine off, hands in my lap. Chloe wouldn't let me escape without photos, her family pressed in around me, all beaming, like I belonged to them. Her dad squeezed my shoulder and said, "Don't you worry, Dr. Parker, we can cheer loud enough for 6 people." I nearly lost it right there. Now I'm alone in my Toyota, the silence loud in my ears. I scroll through the graduation announcements on my phone. Most went out to professors, a few friends, people from my program. But there's one envelope that's different, one I kept separate. The one addressed to Grandma Sullivan. She's been gone for 7 years, but I still wrote out her address, neat as ever, before I caught myself. Grandma Sullivan was the only one in my family who actually cared about what I was doing. When I was 13, after I won the chemistry competition, she leaned in close and whispered, "So how do those chain reactions of yours work, Lucille? Tell me all about it." She'd listen to my long, messy explanations about molecular bonds and electrons bouncing around, really listen, not just pretend. She'd ask more questions, remember little details weeks later, bring them up again. She called me her brilliant granddaughter. She never compared me to Grayson or Bianca, never brushed my achievements aside to make room for someone else's. The name Sullivan, it means something to me. It feels heavy, but honest. The Parker name never did. It's love that feels real. I start the car and drive out of the Dean Dome lot, my diploma sitting on the passenger seat. For intense professional years, late nights, brutal exams, endless rotations, research papers. For years of fighting to prove I belonged, and they picked a ski lodge party instead. I head for Raleigh, for the apartment I'll need to pack up and the life I'll have to leave behind. There's one thought that finally settles in my mind. I'm done being the invisible Parker. I want to find out who Lucille is when she isn't performing for people who never clap. The drive back drags on forever. Every mile marker just reminds me I'm going back to people who chose Grayson's party over my doctorate. My hands ache from gripping the wheel. I need answers. I need to know how intentional this was. At home, I lay everything out on the kitchen table, texts, emails, calendar invites, the graduation announcement I mailed out months ago. Then I find it. The message, buried in my phone's endless scroll. The one where they spelled it out, they weren't coming. I can still hear Evelyn in my head as I read her words. "Lucille, you must understand. This isn't just a party. The mayor and partners from a major private equity firm will be there. This is a critical networking opportunity for Grayson's career. Your graduation, well, it's just a ceremony, isn't it? Just a ceremony. For years of my life, boiled down to just a ceremony, so Grayson can kiss up to politicians and financiers at his mountain chalet. The mayor probably won't remember his name. The partners will see him as Robert Parker's son, not as a person of his own." I stare at that message until the words blur and my eyes burn. This wasn't a mix-up. They saw my graduation and Grayson's party side by side and decided mine didn't matter. The anger starts slow, then hits all at once. I hurl my phone at the wall and it cracks, and honestly, the sound is satisfying. 3 days later, I'm at the Wake County Courthouse, clutching a manila folder stuffed with forms I printed at 3 a.m. Fluorescent lights buzz as I wait in line behind a teenager in a white dress and an old man holding a will. When my number comes up, I walk to the bench where Judge Reynolds sits. He's got silver hair and reading glasses, probably around Robert's age. He looks at my petition and raises an eyebrow. "Parker? That's a powerful name in the research triangle, young lady." He peers at me over the rims. "You sure about this? Changing your name is a serious step." I stand up straighter. "I'm sure, Your Honor. My grandmother was a Sullivan. I want to honor her." He studies me for a moment, then nods, slow and thoughtful. "So ordered. Good luck, Miss Sullivan." Walking out of that courthouse, I feel like I've finally shrugged off a skin that never quite fit. Parker doesn't feel like me anymore. Maybe it never did. Lucille Sullivan. The name feels strange on my tongue. Like freedom, honestly. Packing takes forever, 4 days of sorting through the wreckage of my old life. I don't bother sugarcoating it. I toss the family photos. The Christmas ornament Evelyn gave me, the one with the Parkers painted in gold, gets buried under coffee grounds. Grayson's graduation picture, where everyone's grinning like he won the Nobel, not barely scraping through business school, straight into the dumpster. But Grandma Sullivan's recipe box? That comes with me. The science trophy from high school, the one nobody noticed? Also in. My pharmacy textbooks, battered and scribbled full of notes, get stacked in boxes. These scraps matter. The rest doesn't. I don't say goodbye. Not to Evelyn, not to Robert, not even to Bianca. She's probably still sleeping off Grayson's latest party. They'll figure it out when my apartment sits empty. My phone goes straight to voicemail. The Toyota's packed to the roof by sunrise. Chicago waits, over 700 miles northwest. A new name, a clean start. I'm not just moving, I'm running. The first 200 miles are just me sobbing, ugly, choking tears I've kept locked up for weeks. I pull over twice at rest stops, try to pull myself together, but it's useless. I'm mourning something I never really had. A family that might actually cheer for me instead of acting like my success is just an inconvenience. Somewhere outside Roanoke, I stop at a gas station, just sit there staring at my phone. The lock screen still shows Last Christmas, the whole family around Evelyn's perfect tree, all of us in matching sweaters she picked out. Grayson's got his arm around me, smiling for real. He probably doesn't even know I changed my name. Probably doesn't realize I'm driving away from everything we shared. I delete the photo. Just swipe, gone. The generic landscape wallpaper feels like fresh air. Crossing into Kentucky, the Raleigh pop station fizzles out. Static replaces those familiar morning voices. I don't bother hunting for another station. Instead, I plug in my phone and queue up a dense pharmacology podcast, Drug Interactions in the Elderly. The host's voice is cool, precise, almost surgical. She lays out facts, half-lives, metabolism rates, no drama. That's how I want to rebuild my life. Methodical, logical, no more emotional traps. By the time I hit Indiana, I'm done crying. My jaws set, hands steady on the wheel. The rearview mirror is full of ghosts, but I don't look back. Then, finally, the sign, Chicago. Home of hospitals, universities, people who've never heard the name Parker. Exactly what I need. I merge onto the highway, Northwestern Memorial Hospital, my new apartment, a life where what I do actually counts for something. The city skyline rises ahead like promises. Lucille Sullivan is driving toward her future, and this time, she isn't looking back. That first night, I sit on the floor of my empty Chicago apartment in Lakeview, listening to sleet hammer the windows I haven't even seen in daylight yet. The sound bounces off bare walls, turning the silence into something heavy, almost solid. Everything I own fits in 8 cardboard boxes against the far wall. My diploma leans there too, still in its fancy folder. Dr. Lucille Parker, all elegant scrollwork. Soon it'll say Dr. Lucille Sullivan. Tonight, though, it just feels like a souvenir from a life I'm not sure I can really leave behind. The loneliness presses in until breathing feels like work. Did I do the right thing? The question spins in my head, dragging every rational thought down with it. Am I completely out of my mind? I grab my old phone, the one with every Parker contact still saved. Mom, Dad, Grayson, B. My thumb hovers over Evelyn's name, hand shaking. One call. One apology, even if I don't mean it. I'm sorry I overreacted. I get that Grayson's career matters. Please forgive me for being selfish. The words turn sour in my mind, but they'd work. Evelyn would forgive me. Robert would probably offer to pay for my move back to Raleigh. Within a week, I'd be Dr. Parker again, right back in my old role, the invisible achiever. My thumb inches closer to the call button. The apartment echoes around me. I feel like the last person alive. No Chloe, driving hours just to watch me succeed. No colleagues who care about my research. No professors who remember what I might become. Just me sitting here, weighed down by this awful, total solitude. My hand trembles, the feeling crawling up my arm. I almost call Evelyn, I even scroll to her name, but then my new phone lights up on the coffee table. Blue light fills the room. For a second, I nearly drop my old phone. It's an email from Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Welcome to our pharmacy team, Dr. Sullivan. Orientation starts Monday at 7 a.m. Please report to HR on the 4th floor of the Feinberg Pavilion. We look forward to working with you. Dr. Anjali Kapoor, Director of Pharmacy. I read it 3 times before my brain catches up. Dr. Sullivan. Not Parker. Sullivan. This is real. It's not some daydream I cooked up during a meltdown. Northwestern expects Lucille Sullivan to show up Monday morning, ready to start as a clinical pharmacist. They've printed badges with my name. They've assigned me cases. I'm supposed to review medications, spot the errors that could save lives or ruin them. I suck in a shaky breath, and for the first time since I got to Chicago, my lungs finally feel full. It's more than a job offer. It's proof I can exist outside the Parker family's orbit. My knowledge, my training, they matter without Evelyn's approval or Robert's money. I power off the old phone instead of calling. I walk to the kitchen and drop it into a cardboard box labeled for the dumpster. It lands with a dull thud. That sound is final. Back at my laptop, I type a reply to Dr. Kapoor. Thank you for this opportunity. I look forward to joining the pharmacy team and serving Northwestern's patients. I'll report Monday as requested. Sincerely, Dr. Lucille Sullivan. I stare at the signature, read it twice, and then hit send. Dr. Lucille Sullivan. The name feels strange and strong, like clothes that fit perfectly but still surprise you when you see yourself in the mirror. Next, I email the university registrar. I attach the court order from Wake County, the paper that says, "Officially, I'm Sullivan now." The message is short and direct. Please update my academic records to reflect my legal name change. I'm requesting a reprinted diploma with my current legal name, Lucille Sullivan. Attached is the certified order. Within an hour, they reply. Your request has been processed. Your updated diploma will be ready in 3 weeks. Congratulations on your degree, Dr. Sullivan. Dr. Sullivan. Even from a stranger, the name has a weight I never felt as a Parker. There's no family history tied to it, no endless comparisons to Grayson. No expectations except the ones I decide to set. Outside, the sleet on the windows stops sounding lonely and starts feeling safe. The apartment isn't cavernous anymore. It feels clean. I'm not boxed in by old family drama and guilt trips. I walk to my boxes and find the photo I packed at the last minute, Grandma Sullivan and me at my high school graduation. Her arm around my shoulders, her face shining with real pride. She's wearing her best dress, the pearl earrings she saved for special days. Her smile is pure joy, the kind I never got from Evelyn, not once. Tell me about those chemistry courses you want to take, Grandma asked me that day. I want to know what my brilliant granddaughter is going to study. Not brilliant compared to anyone else. Just brilliant. I set the photo on the windowsill where I'll see it from the kitchen table. Tomorrow, I'll buy groceries. Learn the neighborhood. Monday, I'll walk into Northwestern as Dr. Sullivan, ready to build a career on what I know, not who I'm related to. The name change is done. Parker phone numbers, blocked. Emails from Raleigh, auto-deleted. For the first time, I'm truly alone, but it's not what I expected. The Parker's absence isn't a wound anymore. It's like surgery that took out something sick, so what's left can finally heal. Protecting myself feels like a victory, but it stings too. Some relationships aren't meant to be saved. Sometimes, you just have to get out alive. Chicago keeps humming along outside my window, millions of people going about their lives, totally unaware that I'm Robert Parker's invisible daughter or Grayson Parker's forgotten sister. They don't know me at all, really. All they see is what I let them see: my work, my choices, how I carry myself. And, for the first time ever, that feels like enough. It's been 8 months since I disappeared from Raleigh. Back home, Robert sits in his polished office on the 40th floor, staring down a manila folder like it's about to confess his worst fears. The private investigator, thin, wire-rimmed glasses, looks like he's spent decades trailing cheating husbands, pushes the folder across the desk without much ceremony. She's not missing, Mr. Parker. Robert doesn't move. His hands stay flat on the blotter, like the folder might bite. He was the one who insisted on filing the missing person report, back when Evelyn's calls to my old number went straight to the void. They convinced themselves I'd been kidnapped, or hit by a car, or something anything but the truth. She's in Chicago, the investigator goes on, sounding bored. Works at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. She's Dr. Lucille Sullivan now. That hits Robert hard. He goes pale, finally cracks open the folder with shaky fingers. Inside, my new Illinois medical license, job records, Lincoln Park address, and legal proof that I'm not a Parker anymore. Sullivan, he manages, voice hoarse. She took her grandmother's name. It was never about my safety. The missing person drama was always about something else, about me daring to walk away, about erasing the Parker name from my professional life. That's what stings. Your daughter's thriving, sir, the investigator says, already gathering his things. Excellent employment record. Clean credit. No trouble with the law. Just a young woman who wanted a fresh start. When he leaves, Robert just sits there, staring out at the Raleigh skyline. The Parkers had influence there. 3 generations in banking and development, and here I am, tossing the name away like it's nothing. Meanwhile, up in Chicago, I'm learning just how numb I've gotten to their attempts at control. Grayson's message comes through LinkedIn on a Tuesday night while I'm buried in patient charts. His name pops up on my screen. A year ago, I'd have felt my heart race and my stomach twist with hope and panic. Now I read the message like I'm checking for drug interactions. Mom is devastated that you changed your name. This is so selfish. You're hurting the whole family with this childish tantrum. Dad had to hire a private investigator because we thought you were dead. How could you do this to us? I read it twice, then hit block. Go right back to my charts. Nothing. The words that would have gutted me last year just slide off. For the first time, I'm totally immune to Parker family guilt trips. My first year of residency at Northwestern is rough, no doubt, but at least it's honest work. I drag myself home after 16-hour shifts, exhausted in a way that feels clean. No more family drama draining the joy out of everything I accomplish. That's where I am when the big case comes in. Thursday morning in April, Mrs. Patterson, 72, post-liver transplant, crashing with multi-organ failure. Kidneys failing, blood pressure tanking, lab results that make everyone nervous. The attending, Dr. Singh, stands at her bedside with 3 residents and an infectious disease specialist, all of them looking quietly panicked. We've run every test twice, Dr. Singh says, shuffling the chart. Rejection markers are negative, infection panels are clean, but she's failing across multiple systems. Technically, I'm just supposed to review her med list. Routine job. Only, something about it nags at me, like a word stuck on the tip of my tongue. I end up in the medical library all night, digging through every possible interaction. At 4 a.m., I finally find it, a case study buried in a Swedish journal. Turns out there's a freak reaction between her immunosuppressant and a harmless-seeming blood pressure drug. It mimics rejection but is completely reversible. I close my laptop, exhausted but grinning. This is what I came here for. Every morning, I step onto the ward with my heart pounding, clutching my printouts like they're evidence in a courtroom. When Dr. Singh asks for pharmacy input, my voice wobbles as I lay out what I've found. I think we're dealing with a drug interaction no one's published before, tacrolimus and her ACE inhibitor. It's this cytochrome P450 thing, a whole feedback loop messing with multiple organs. The room goes silent, everyone waiting. 15 long seconds. Dr. Singh, famous for making a resident cry right here, looks at me with a face I can't read. Show me the literature. I hand her my stack, highlighted pages, chemical pathways I know by heart. She reads, the team holds its breath. Then she glances up. Good work, Dr. Sullivan. You just saved a life. That small, quiet good work hits me harder than any applause Grayson ever got from the Parkers. This praise feels different, real, specific, earned. Not a trick. Not emotional blackmail. Just respect. Mrs. Patterson recovers after we change her meds. 3 weeks later, I get a thank you card addressed to Dr. Sullivan and the angels at Northwestern. I tape it to my monitor right where I can see it every day. I meet Ben somewhere I never expected, at a pharmacogenomics conference so dull you could nap through it with your eyes open. The topic? Data modeling in pharma research. But when Ben starts talking about algorithmic bias in clinical trials, suddenly I'm awake. During Q&A, I can't help myself. I raise my hand. Your methodology assumes random distribution of confounding variables, but that's exactly the bias you're trying to find. You're measuring the problem with the same broken tools that caused it. The room freezes. Ben studies me, then grins. You're absolutely right. The circular logic is embarrassingly obvious now that you've said it. He doesn't get defensive or brush me off. He listens. After the session, he finds me by the coffee. You were right about the data bias, he says, handing me a cup. I'm Ben. Can I buy you dinner so you can tell me what else I'm wrong about? I'm stunned. Grayson used to argue just to win. Robert never let me finish a thought. But Ben? He wants to hear more. I'm Lucille, I say, taking the coffee. And yes, but fair warning, I have opinions about everything. He laughs. Perfect. So do I. This should be interesting. 9 months later, Ben is watching me pace in my apartment, muttering pharmaceutical jargon as I prep for a huge presentation to the hospital board. I'm anxious, distracted, lost in my own head. He doesn't tell me to relax or throw out empty comfort. He just brings me coffee, a sandwich I forgot to eat, and gives me that quiet look like I'm here. Always. I stop. 15-year-old me, standing alone with my science fair trophy, flashes through my mind. This is the support I've needed all along. Not parties, not networking. Just someone quietly making space for me to succeed. That night, I stand in front of a room full of department heads and hospital brass, presenting my new pharmacy protocol. And for the first time, I feel it real confidence, not borrowed from anyone else's approval. My foundation is solid now. Whatever I build next is truly mine. 3 years have gone by since I left Raleigh with nothing but my diploma and a stubborn drive to make something real. The woman who stood alone at graduation? She feels like a stranger, someone who chased approval at every turn. Now I'm straightening my white coat in the mirror of my new office at Northwestern. Lead clinical pharmacist. The nameplate says Dr. Lucille Sullivan, PharmD, in bold black letters. No Parker anywhere. Chloe bursts in, arms full of flowers from my old South Carolina colleagues. Look at you, hotshot. An office with real windows. She laughs, pointing at the street outside. Quite the view. I grin, taking the bouquet. Hey, I get to see everyone coming and going. It's poetic. She drops into the visitor's chair, the same one where sales reps will soon sit, trying to win me over. It's funny. Now people chase my approval, my signature, my opinion. So, she says, tell me everything about the promotion ceremony. Chloe doesn't let up. And don't you dare downplay it. I want details. Honestly, I still feel like I'm floating. Yesterday's announcement plays in my head again and again. Dr. Anjali Kapoor, director of pharmacy, always with that look she gets when she's about to talk medication errors, called me into her office. My stomach did a nosedive. I kept thinking, what did I screw up? What protocol did I miss this time? Lucille, sit down. She nodded at that same chair across from her huge mahogany desk. I remembered sitting there 3 years ago, just another nervous grad desperate to prove I belonged. She didn't waste time. I'll cut to the chase. The board approved your promotion to lead clinical pharmacist. Congratulations. Honestly, it felt like time slowed down. 3 years of grinding, staying late, triple-checking complex cases, presenting research to skeptical attendings, clawing out respect one clinical call at a time, and all of it came down to those few words, congratulations. I tell Chloe all this, slumping into my new desk chair. The leather's real, not the cheap vinyl from my old cubicle days. Dr. Kapoor said my work on the post-transplant protocol sealed the deal for the promotion. Chloe gives me that grin. Remember that case you told me about? The one where you caught the med interaction everyone else missed? That memory rushes back hard. Mrs. Patterson. I lost sleep over that case, digging through obscure journals, cross-referencing drug interactions most people don't even know exist. That's what real achievement feels like, I tell her. Saving lives, not racking up awards just to impress people who don't care. My phone buzzes, Ben, texting from a biotech conference in San Diego. Proud of you, lead pharmacist Sullivan. Can't wait to celebrate when I get home tomorrow. Dinner at your favorite place. His support still catches me off guard. There's never any competition. No weirdness. Just pride, pure and simple. Like my win is his win too. Chloe catches my smile. Ben? He made dinner reservations to celebrate. At Gino's East? That deep dish place? Horrible parking, but the pizza's amazing? That's the one. I put my phone down, but Ben's message still warms me. You know what's weird? I say. I keep waiting for someone to say the promotion was a mistake. Or that I didn't earn it. Chloe's face goes serious. That's the Parker programming. You spent your whole life thinking you had to earn love through achievement, but even perfect wasn't enough for them. She's right. The whole invisible achiever thing, always hustling for approval, always thinking the next win would finally be enough. I dragged that baggage with me to Chicago, into every new job, every relationship, every challenge. But something changed these past 3 years. My colleagues became my people. They celebrated my wins because they were proud, not threatened or jealous. My research got real recognition. My patient care awards piled up, not because I was chasing approval, but because I'm actually good at what I do. I published 2 research papers this year, I say, mostly to myself. Presented at a national conference. Led the rollout of a new pharmacy protocol that cut med errors by 22%. And nobody tried to shrink your success. Chloe finishes for me. Nobody called you a show-off. Nobody threw a party just to steal your thunder. Chloe reaches across the desk and squeezes my hand. Welcome to what normal family support feels like. This is how it's supposed to be. Out my office window, I watch a young resident sprinting across the street, white coat flying. He's probably on his way to save someone's life. 3 years ago, that was me, desperate to prove myself to anyone who'd listen. Now, I'm the one people come to for answers. The lead clinical pharmacist. Not invisible anymore. My computer chimes. New email. I glance at the sender and my breath catches Evelyn Parker. Chloe notices my face change. What's up? I stare at the subject line, your wedding announcement. My email filter already tossed it into the blocked senders, auto-delete folder. The irony is perfect. Evelyn must have seen my engagement online, maybe spotted photos of the venue Ben and I toured last weekend, or heard about the bridal shower my team is planning for next month. I can see her panic, clear as day, like I'm standing right there in her Raleigh living room. The shock hitting her, her daughter's getting married and she's not even in the loop. Not asked, not told, nothing. My mother actually tried to email me about the wedding. I tell Chloe, clicking over to the blocked messages folder. There it is. Straight to the filters, just like always. Chloe's eyebrows shoot up. Are you going to read it? I hover the mouse for a second. Then, nope, I close the folder. Whatever she wrote, whatever guilt trip or plea for attention, it doesn't have my address anymore. That email's going to auto-delete in 30 days. Unread. Unanswered. Evelyn's panic, her drama, her frantic need to wedge herself back into my life. It'll just blink out, swallowed by the ether. That's the real win, not just building a career in spite of their absence, but finally taking away their power to hurt me. Their anxiety about missing my wedding, it just doesn't matter because I actually know what support feels like now. Ben's texts. Dr. Kapoor's professional respect. Chloe, always in my corner. My colleagues, truly cheering me on. That's family, the kind you build, not the kind you're handed at birth. I swipe away the email notification and turn back to Chloe. She's looking at me, sort of amazed. 3 years ago, that would have wrecked you, she says, voice low. She's right. 3 years ago, I was still tap dancing for their approval. I lean back in my leather chair and glance outside, watching people come and go on the street. No permission slips needed. I'm finally living for myself. A year later, I landed another promotion. Dr. Lucille Sullivan, lead clinical pharmacist, there it was, bold and unapologetic. That came through last month. Youngest person at Northwestern to ever hold the role. My research on post-transplant meds? Published in 2 major journals. Invitations to speak keep stacking up on my desk. But honestly, none of that touches the quiet thrill I get when I look down at my left hand. Simple platinum band, catching the hospital lights while I review patient charts. Ben proposed a year ago, and he did it in the most Ben way possible right in the middle of a coffee break at a pharmacogenomics conference. Of all places. He slid into the seat next to me, 2 cups of terrible conference coffee in hand. "I have a hypothesis I'd like you to help me test," he said, all serious. "Oh, really?" I raised an eyebrow. "What's the hypothesis, Dr. Martinez?" "That we'd make an excellent research partnership. Long-term. 50, maybe 60 years of collaboration." He pulled out a ring box with that same steady precision he uses in the lab. "So, want to co-author the rest of our lives?" I burst out laughing, nearly spilled coffee everywhere. "Ben Martinez, did you just propose using the scientific method?" Peer review encouraged, he grinned, opening the box to reveal a gorgeous, sensible solitaire. "So, will you accept my research proposal?" That memory still makes me smile as I finish up my afternoon rounds. Ben got it, something the Parkers never did. Love isn't a show, it's showing up, making space for each other's wins, choosing us over who's right or who's best. My phone buzzes. Ben again. Grocery run done. Dinner started. "Focus on changing the world, I'll handle the logistics. See you at 7. Those were his exact words in his wedding vows 4 weeks ago. Our wedding? Nothing like a Parker family production. Small, close, full of people who'd actually shown up for me, year after year. Chloe flew in from South Carolina, crying as I walked down the aisle. My old professor, the one who shepherded me through my doctorate, actually walked me down the aisle. Just before we reached Ben, he whispered, "You did good, Dr. Sullivan. Your grandmother would be proud." Ben's vows were perfect. No sugarcoating, no ridiculous promises. Just the truth. "I can't promise your life will be perfect," he said, eyes steady on mine, "but I promise to be your partner, to cheer you on, and to always handle the logistics while you save the world." The Parkers weren't just not invited, they weren't missed. I lock my office and head home to the condo Ben and I share in Lincoln Park. Evening light slants through the tall windows. I climb the stairs, and there's something amazing wafting from the kitchen. "How'd the board meeting go?" Ben calls out from the stove, not even turning as he stirs whatever magic he's making. "They signed off on the protocol." I drop my bag by the door and lean against the kitchen counter, a little dazed. "Every unit's rolling it out next month." "Of course they approved it," Ben says, grinning as he turns toward me. "It's groundbreaking, Dr. Sullivan. They'd have to be out of their minds not to." That's the thing the Parkers never got. When you share success, it doesn't shrink, it grows. Ben's pride in me never takes anything away from him. If anything, both of us end up standing a little taller. The next morning, gray and rainy, I'm stressed out and pacing the living room, shuffling through my notes for my big presentation to the hospital board. This is the one where I'm supposed to convince them to take the pharmacy protocol system-wide. My stomach's in knots. I mutter key points under my breath, slide my laptop around, rearrange the deck for the 3rd time. Interaction rates down 37%, I whisper, projected savings of $3.1 million a year. I stop, shake my head. No, can't open with that. Should I start with patient outcomes, or will the money talk first? Ben appears in the doorway, watching me wear a groove into the carpet. He doesn't try to talk me down or offer the usual "you'll do fine" stuff. Instead, he slips into the kitchen. 5 minutes later, he's back with a mug of coffee, just the way I take it, and a plate of toast with almond butter, which I didn't even realize I'd skipped for breakfast. "You're gonna be brilliant," he says, setting everything down on the coffee table. "The protocol's good. They know it." I stop pacing. Really see him standing there, hair a mess, shirt wrinkled, just quietly taking care of me. No big speeches, no expectation of a thank you. Suddenly, I'm 15 again, standing in that old kitchen with my regional science fair trophy. Evelyn barely glancing up, tossing a distracted "that's nice, dear," before hurrying off to plan Grayson's celebration dinner. That trophy sat there for a week before I finally carried it upstairs myself. This moment with Ben, this is the total opposite. I realize, maybe for the first time, that I've spent my whole life looking for this, without ever knowing it. Not applause, not some big show. Just someone quietly making room for me to do my thing. Thank you, I say, and my voice is steadier than it's been all morning. I know, Ben answers, kissing my forehead. That's what partners do. The presentation goes off without a hitch. The board greenlights the protocol for all departments. My research is going to touch patient care across one of the top hospitals in the country. But honestly, the win I carry home isn't about the recognition or the emails flooding my inbox. It's coming home to Ben, who's celebrated by loading the dishwasher and walking our dog. Later, I'm at my desk, working on the research paper that goes with the protocol rollout. Ben's across the room, buried in a book about biotech, reading out odd facts now and then if he thinks they might help my work. The house feels peaceful. There's only the soft flip of pages and the sound of my keyboard. No anxiety. No fear of judgment. I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. I just feel settled. I pause, look around. Books everywhere, 2 mugs abandoned on the coffee table, Ben's glasses sliding down his nose. It hits me, this is what happiness actually looks like. Not flashy, not dramatic. Just real and steady. My phone is quiet. The email filters I set up years ago still do their job, making sure any stray messages from Raleigh never see the light of day. The Parkers don't cross my mind much anymore. They're just background noise now. Sometimes I wonder if Evelyn still tells people her daughter's a doctor, or if Robert brags about me at the bank. If Grayson or Bianca ever think about the sister who just faded out of the family photo. But it doesn't sting. It's just the kind of idle curiosity you feel about people who used to matter. I go back to my writing, add another paragraph to the conclusion. Outside, Chicago settles into its evening hum. Ben turns another page. Our life keeps ticking along, quietly, purposefully. And now, finally, I get what Grandma Sullivan was trying to show me all those years ago, when she leaned close to ask about my chemistry experiments. Family isn't who you're born to. It's who shows up when it counts. And the people who show up? They're right here in this room.